Hey, hello everybody. This is Jim from Jim's Holiest of Coleus. All right, we're gonna get right to it. Those of you who are following along, who subscribe, and for those of you who maybe are new to my channel, this is the Coleus Seed Stalks. Now I want to shoot this video out just to get everybody maybe prepared. For those of you who maybe were following along and looking to go along with me and harvest your Coleus seeds for next season, depending on where you are in the world. I mean, if you're in Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, or whatever, now it's getting to be spring over on your way, so you can do with this right now. Or if you're in Florida, certain parts of Florida where where you're fortunate that it's temperate all year long. You can plant your Coleus seeds now, but this is really how, again, it's my other videos, how I dry out my Coleus seeds. Now, if you missed out on that, check my other videos I had made over the past month or so on how to know when to correctly, how to know when it's time to cut your seed stalks to dry them out. But for my purposes, how I organize it is, and you can use anything, any kind of container. I like using these aluminum trays at the dollar store, but you can use anything. But you want to separate, make sure you mark each tray, depending on how many Coleus seeds stalks variety you have. I have many. But anyway, make sure you mark your tray, whatever it is. If you're not sure what name the Coleus, what variety it is, just make a description like I do. Sometimes I don't know exactly. And you bring your Coleus seed stalks in and let them dry out completely. Now here's a good example of the difference between Coleus that are dried out and Coleus that are not quite dried out, not at all. The ones on the right, these are both from the same plant. These are from a Kong variation. A miniature conch variation with the white with a nice fuchsia splotches all over. The ones on the right I cut off about a month ago. The ones on the left I just cut. I just took off the plant. Now you can see there are some of the little petals. It's starting to get on in October here, and it's starting to get very chilly and windy, so I decided to cut these. They probably could use them a few more weeks, but I'm confident that the seeds are pretty mature. So anyway, here's an example of Coleus seeds stalks that are completely dried out, brittle, and ready to go. So anyway, just for your preparation, if you're going to follow along with me, and I'm going to separate these seeds shortly, but I wanted to make this out for those who maybe want to follow along. And what I have, again, these are the trays. Get yourself a colander. One of these you get at the dollar store. I'm going to get a new one because this one's getting kind of rusty, tatty. This cleaned it, but get yourself a fine mesh colander. White uncoated paper plates. Get the uncoated type. The coated ones, when you separate the seeds, you always have some organic debris, and the seeds, by their nature, they're round. They roll off this plate, but the organic matter tends to stick, as opposed to the glossy, coated white paper plates, which everything, the debris and the seeds roll off. So get the uncoated, and they're cheaper too. So get the uncoated white paper plates. Some good Ziploc bags. Now I know I've said in the past you do not store your seed stalks in Ziplocs, but your seeds you can. As you can see here, seeds can be stored in the Ziploc bags, or you can use white paper envelopes, but I like these because the envelopes, they end up coming out. So I like the Ziplocs, and then I mark the Ziplocs and a marker for to mark everything. So okay, so get these items if you haven't already. cut your seed stalks if you haven't already, or continue to let them dry out. There's plenty of time. I'm in New Jersey. I'm not going to sow my seeds. I personally, my little company, Jim's Holiest of Coleus, my trademark is I seed my plants on Christmas Day each year. So I have plenty of time, but I get the seeds. These are all will be dried out completely. I'll harvest the seeds, and I'll shoot that video in a few weeks. So we still have time. So go out and get these items if you're following along, and then I'll show you how to separate the seeds and bag them. And then when you're ready to plant your seeds, you'll have them. And seeds will last you a good 5 years. So you have plenty of time. Let your seed stalks dry out completely. As you can see, most of these are completely dried out. I mean, there's tons of seeds. I don't even have to see, you can see them right there. There are tons of seeds just doing this. They just fall off. Very brittle, and lots of seeds. You can see they're a little round. They're smaller than poppy seeds. They look very much like poppy seeds. And that's why I use the paper plate. That's why I use the white paper plate, because the round little poppy Coleus seeds really contrast well, and you can see exactly what you have. Okay, so just if you're following along, grab let your Coleus seed stalks dry out completely. That's very important. You can see those are still not quite dried out. See, they have a little green to them, and you can see some brown there, although as compared to here, these are completely dried out, ready to go. You can let them just dry out. I mean, you can get to it when you can get to it. If you're waiting till spring, I would recommend to separate them, as soon as you can. There's no rush really, but I would recommend to, once these are completely dry out and you have the time, to separate them, put them in bags, and then you can use them in the spring or whenever you want to use them. So. And before I sign off, I want to go over and show you for later on, because I've gotten a couple of comments on this. I want to show you the indoor plant LED grow light that I use. So let's go take a look at that. All right, here we are. This is I really recommend these for two reasons. Number one reason is they're very, very safe. Excuse me, my focusing. They don't throw any heat. By nature of these LEDs, they throw absolutely no heat whatsoever. I don't think it shows up. You can see the different colors. This is a multi-spectrum plant grow light. It's an LED multi-spectrum plant grow light. I'm hanging off of my ceiling down above my indoor greenhouse, and this is where I keep eventually I keep all my germination trays, and I keep this light on. I have a couple of Coleus in pots that I keep on, and this I really recommend. I think I got it on eBay. It's about 30 bucks. I really recommend it, and it's the two things again is it's very, very safe. You don't have to worry about this going on fire. You don't have to worry about heat or anything. And another thing is, by nature of the LED lights, it's extremely energy efficient. It uses like no electricity, so you can leave this thing going. Now, once I get this once the season starts in and I have my plants growing in here, just like people, or rather, just like people, you need your rest. You need darkness, light. I shut this off on a timer at 10 o'clock at night. So from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. it comes back on at 6 a.m. So you definitely want to shut your grow lights off. You don't want to leave your plants. You don't want this on 24/7 over your plants. You want to give your plants a rest. Just off the beaten track. I know I'm doing seed stalk video here, but I got a lot of requests and comments on what kind of grow light do I use a grow light. So yes, I do. Definitely get a hold of one of these, and it's not just this type. This one hangs from the ceiling. I thought it was perfect for this. They come in all different styles that you can use and so forth. So you really can just gear it to whatever setup you have. But for this setup, it's perfect, and it's so light, so I can hang it from my ceiling without my wife getting really mad at me. It doesn't pull any of the plaster out of it. It's so light. So highly recommend it. Again, it's a multi-spectrum LED plant light. It may be listed as a hydroponic grow light, but just do a search on hydroponic LED plant lights or multi-spectrum LED plant lights, and go from there. And again, this is only I think about $30-40. You shouldn't pay for anything more than that. You really don't need, unless you're really super into, you know, greenhousing and so forth. But for your basic indoor lighting for any kind of plants, this is the way to go. So, okay, hey, thanks for following along. Get those supplies for the seed stalks. Let those seed stalks dry out. Even if I shoot the video before your seed stalks are dried, obviously you can save it and reference it back. But get those items. Again, let's go over. Get those items. Remember the paper plates, the non-coated paper plates, Ziploc bags, your marker. Everybody has a marker. Very important, the colander. The colander I use over the paper plates, as my video will show later. It separates the seed and the organic matter, the pieces of the as you separate the seeds, it separates the organic matter. You can see again all those Coleus seeds. Look at that. And those perfectly contrast with the white paper plate. So again, get your seed stalks. Take your time. Be patient. You'll know. Get your seed stalks dried out. Get these items, and stay tuned for my video from when I separate and store my seeds, my Coleus seeds for Christmas, for when I plant my 2020 stock. Okay, any questions, comments, please do leave a message. Like it, please. I love when you like my videos, and I love even more when you subscribe, and I love it even more when you pass my channel on to your friends, and then they can pass it on to their friends, and so on and so on. So, all right, thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys following along, and we're going to grow some great Coleus next year, aren't we? Okay, everybody have a great week. Thanks for watching. Jim's Holiest of Coleus.